Got your back against the wall, no, you know you never had a chance. Should've known better, now you better make other plans. There's no going back, gotta let you know in advance. This is Game Squad.
Hey, how's it going, YouTube? This is Joe Grizz from the Team Avalanche Worldwide YouTube channel, and I'm here today to give you guys another top 10 countdown on the top 10 best decks of the July 2015 TCG Konami format. Without further ado, let's get into it really quick. Starting off at number 10, we have Mermails. Now, Mermails, you know, they were a wildly popular deck, the best deck, you know, a few years ago. Took over the game completely with their easy, you know, level 7 manipulation and rank 7 plays like Draco Sack and Big Eye and stuff like that. To be able to control the game was like easy as hell for them. So I put them back at number 10 because with the recent release of Dragoons to 2, I think the deck got a little bit more consistency. Vanities at 1, Skill Dreams at 1, things like that. People were more apt to play the deck. Now, you know, you don't have title. That's a bit of a problem, you know, but you can play good cards with it. You can manipulate the level 7 still. It's still really fast and consistent. It still has 3 sphere, you know, still has good cards. Still have the markments for spot removal and the infantry for spot removal. So I think the deck is really, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, you know, for the format. So number 10, it sneaks back in. I didn't have it in the last format's list, you know, but right now with the recent changes, it sneaks back in at number 10. Number 9, Blackwings. Blackwings make the cut at number 9 because that deck is very underrated. The deck, again, was also one of the best decks, or if not the best decks, you know, of former formats, you know, a few years ago, maybe like 2010-ish, 11, 9 definitely, but, you know, deck was definitely the deck to beat at a certain point in the game. And right now, everything's pretty much at 3. You know, we have 3 Whirlwind, 3 Gale, 3 Collude, 3 Blizzard, you know, stuff like that. You have cards like Icarus Attack for spot removal, Black Sonic, which is super Mirror Force, and super D-Prison, like altogether. It's just a Delta Crow. So without, you know, a format without having Heavy Storm, any deck that can produce a card that has, you know, massive spot removal like Delta Crow or Black Sonic, those cards really make a difference in the game. Not a lot of people play Blackwings, you know, on a high level at tournaments because everybody's trying to play, you know, the top decks, like the top 5 decks or 6. But, you know, it still is a deck and a competitor in the format. So I think it's really going to make a difference a little bit in the format. It sneaks in also at number 9. A lot of people wanted me to put it on the list, so there you go. You guys get your wish. Yeah, and that's that. Going to number 8, Yosenjus. Now, Yosenjus, I feel, are a great contender in the format because it's the best anti-meta deck there is. Like, other than evilswarms, what evilswarms were in prior formats, that's what they are now. You know, the deck doesn't rely on special summoning too much. Like, you can get quick special summoning plays in, like Lightning Chidori. The Lightning Chidori accessible. You know, quick little exceeds Cowboy. You can double Cowboy if a game there's an OTK with it. Stuff like that. But the best part of the deck is not the special summoning capabilities, but rather its back row capabilities. The deck swarms the field with all normal summons. Normal, like the Hunter family. You can play cards like Vanity in the deck. You can play Mistake in the deck if you want to. People can play Mistake because you don't have to rely on the common 3 search where you can, you know, poke for damage and then get the bear effect to search your deck for any combo monster. You don't have to put that into the game a lot, you know. Yeah, the tankies are in there, but you don't need it. But you can play Mistake in the deck. It can be played, you know. You can definitely play Lose 1 turn. Now, Lose 1 turn, that card makes a big difference. It's like having Skill Drain in that deck, but against power decks. That's what makes the deck a contender. It's easy capabilities to spam the board with normal summons, not special summons. Common 1 to bounce. Common 2 shoots directly. Common 3 searches. You know, you could play the Spell and the Trap. The Spell and the Trap aren't really the best cards to use. You know, the Trap, but it was good. It's good, kind of, if you only leave the combos on board, then it's good to always have that if you play the L, because L protects your monsters from being destroyed. So that's the only time I would see those cards being played, but the spell is not really needed. You know, yeah, it's like a gateway, but it's not really needed in the deck at all. You don't really need that card. Yeah, just being able to access, you know, cards, Kozmo, D-Fissure, stuff like that. Cards that don't rely, and they have a Kalut or an Honest. You know, the Yosenju, I forgot what it's called, but it's an Honest that doesn't really have to go to the grave. So while you have cards like Kozmo's D-Fissure face up on the field, or Soul Drain or stuff like that, you can easily just drop the card from your hand, you know, damage, and that's it, you win, which is pretty good. So you can have two of them. You can put one on the board and one in your hand. You can go summon one, boost 2,000. I'll swing over, drop the other one, another 1,000, punch right in the face. You know what I'm saying? Gets over big monsters, especially cards like towers and stuff like that. So that's why Yosenju slides in at number 8. Number 7, Heroes. Now Heroes, I feel like, are a great contender in the format. Yeah, again, I didn't have them on my last list. You know, I was being very silly. But after seeing them in action throughout the format and through tournaments, I was made a believer that Heroes are definitely a good contender in the format, especially as a great tier 2 deck that slides in. You know, just being able to access cards like Darklaw. Darklaw is an amazing card. Yeah, it's a little, you know, it's a little different now. Now the Lavalval Chain was banned, you know, from the format. Now the Lavalval Chain got banned. It's like they didn't really do much to hurt the deck except that, you know, so it does give a small setback. They didn't give a Stratos, but you can still, you know, put cards on the field, put cards in the grave. There's still 3 Rotas. There's still 3 emergency call. You know, there's still 3 hero lives if you want to play that version. You know, 3 Shadow Mist. You have the flaming, what is his name? Flame Blazeman. You have the Blazeman in the deck now. Oh shit. You have the Blazeman in the deck now, you know, so you can dump. That's the easy way to get over it. So if you don't have Lavalval Chain, you have Blazeman. It's the same factor. You know, you summon, dump, you get the same plays off. You can search, mask. You still get to do a lot with it. So it's like, it's stuff like, search the heroes and stuff like that. So the deck is still pretty powerful. It's still pretty fast. Acid, like being able to combo the decks with Acid and Darklaw are great. If you can put Acid and Darklaw on board, that is wonderful, because not only are you destroying everything in the back row, but you are also removing them all from play. So there's out of the game. There's nothing, you know. And you're playing against stuff like artifacts or stuff like Cliff Forts, and you happen to get that to the field and hits the pendulum because they're spells, hits the pendulums as well, and clears the board. All of them get removed because Darklaw and Acid are both on the board at the same time. So it's, you know, combos like that can be played to make that deck really powerful. So again, that's Heroes in number 7. Number 6, getting closer to the top spots, Ritual Beast. Now this deck has shown to be a grand contender in the format, a very grand contender in the format. You know, easy plays. It plays like Infernities. You know, basically they're GBs. They tag in and out. It's hard to really stop their plays and their combos because all they're doing is bouncing every chance they get. So once they draw, you know, the first hand they get might not be the best hand to start with, but once they start up, it's pretty unbeatable. You know, you have cards like Steeds and Ambush to special summon and pop stuff. Like, that in itself is great. You know, pop cards equal to the number of monsters you have. That's wonderful. Board clearing cards. Like I said, spot removal. And decks that have spot removal against like those like back row accessible decks, like that's very powerful. You get rid of stuff easy. Popping cards. You know, they're easy. They put big beaters on board. They have the 28 beater, you know, the 26 Dolphin, I think is in 26 Cheeks, you know. They put them on board and all they do is bounce and float, bounce and float, bounce and float. So, you know, it makes you waste a lot of back row. You don't want to waste like Mirror Force and stuff like that. Deep Prisons, you know, Bottomless, Torrential. You're using all these cards and bounce, bounce. It's easy. Vanity is at 1. Skill Drain's at 1. You know, it's a little easier. It's a little easier now to run the deck. Yeah, you have Lose a Turn, but Lose a Turn you're not really gonna see. But Lose a Turn you're not really gonna see much in decks except for like anti-meta type decks like Cliff Forts or, you know, Yosenju's or something along that line. You're not really gonna see it. So the deck itself is not gonna really lose in that aspect. So yeah. So again, I think that deck is really powerful for the format. So number 5 being Shaddolls. Shaddolls makes the cut of number 5. Yeah, some people might argue, yeah, it should be higher in the tiers. I don't think so. I think a number 5 is a good place for it because it lost a lot of steam, you know, as the formats went on. You saw less and less and less of the Shaddoll deck being played. Everybody was jumping to Nekroz. Everybody wanted to play Satellarknights because they never got touched. Everybody wanted to play Cliff Forge because lose a turn, Burning Abyss because they got all the support. And the monsters that control the graves, plus they have cards like Firelight. So the deck didn't really get, you know, more support. It got less support. People thought with the addition of the water fusion that it was gonna make a real big difference in the deck, and it didn't. You know, and unless you have a card like Dankaseka, like opening up, you know, you're not really doing much with your turn. Even if you're not really doing much with your turn, you know, you have to really draw that hand that is like overpowering and powerful. Yeah, you know, cards like Shaddoll Fusion are big, you know, and that puts a monster on board versus decks that special summon from the extra deck like Nekroz and like Burning Abyss and Satellarknights and stuff like that, but it doesn't do a thing against Nekroz, you know, and it really has a big problem against Cliff Forge. You know, everybody thought Cliff Forge was gonna get hurt. It didn't. It actually got better with the support, you know. It's just not as quick, but it's still powerful. But Shaddolls really can't do much without cards like Denko. Yeah, they still can put big monsters on board, but they're really easy to get rid of and get around now in these formats, you know. And a lot of these new decks can main floodgates and stuff that can't beat. So I don't think that deck really should be. Before I thought it would be with the Star Seros. You know, more powerful the same way it was with artifacts, but it's not the same at all. It doesn't have the same consistency as it had with the artifacts. With the Star Seros, you know, Lavalva Chain getting hit to, you know, to 0. It lost a lot of steam for trying to make that combo live where you can stack the chairs on top or the scepter on top and keep going. But you know, it's not really as good as it was. It becomes really dead, and unless you're mixing it with a deck like Burning Abyss, you're not really doing what you need to do with the deck. So that's why that stays at number 5. Number 4, Cliff Forge. Cliff Forge to me, I think, is a really good deck. It's always been good. Yeah, Scout got hit to 2. Yeah, before. Yeah, Sacrifice got hit to 1. Everybody shit on the deck, out of the deck, you know. And then, you know, cards like Lose One Turn came out. So, you know, Vanity went to 1, Skill Drain went to 1. Everybody thought, you know, it's cool. The deck's not going to see play like that. Lose a Turn itself is a powerful card. It's like super Skill Drain. It stays on board. It's easy. You know, all you have to do is not control a special summon monster when you flip it, which is light. You know, so the monster goes to defense. It's negated for the turn. You know, stuff like that. It makes it easy for your beaters, your 1800 beaters, to just swing over them. You know what I'm saying? It's not skill drain, but against the opponent, it's really powerful. It's like skill drain, but just for them, not for you. So you don't get the advantages of the boost for your cards unless you special summon them, and then you can't really do much. But still, it's still a great card if you want to just keep poking, because you're just punching over stuff with the 18 and the 19 punching. And if you have the cards in the Pendulum Zone like Carrier and Helix and stuff like that, getting these boosts, you know, for your monsters or the decline in their attacks, it makes it really easy to punch over the cards, you know. So that's why that deck slides in. And Tower Control, that's a pretty good, powerful deck. Tower Control, Tower Turbo, I would say. You know, that's really good deck. So the deck is definitely a contender for the format, you know, for what it is right now. Number 3, Satellarknights. Satellarknights, like I said, never lost a beat. You know, if anything, they got better. People like playing the Star Seraph version. You know, Star Seraph version is not really as consistent. The pure version is more consistent and more, you know, powerful, in my opinion. You know, Trevere loop is like one of the best things you can get in the game. You can keep looping Trevere to get rid of the monsters on the field and rid of the extra deck cards and put them back in extra deck. You know, it makes for a better gameplay. You know, being able to bounce cards, rip one from hand. You know, put cards like the Tauros on board. They have the new Pluthotomus, where, you know, you make them with 2 monsters and you can overlay Diamond. So Diamond is now more accessible now in the deck. So you get to it faster without having to put 3 monsters on board and waste all these monsters. You can make a simple Altier play into a Diamond, which is really great. Really great. So, you know, and of course you can play 3 Nova. You still have 3 Rhoda. They still have You know, the Call of the Hondas, the Oasis, Double Honest, like stuff like that. Supporting cards that can be played in the deck. The deck already plays a massive amount of back row, so you know that's a big factor in its win condition towards the other decks, is that it can hold a balance on the board. Yeah, there's other decks that can swarm the board and, you know, do this, but with those decks, with a deck like that, it is really easy to control the game, you know, if you know how to play it right. Number 2, Nekroz. Now, Nekroz really didn't lose much. Yeah, you know, the Gen Lock is out the window. Yeah, Lavalval Chain's out the window. But you still have cards like Trish. Oh, I didn't mention that either. Trishula and Shaddoll. So you can make Trish, but you know, not that it's gonna be make a big factor in the deck, but you can make it. But you can especially make it in Nekroz. You make Trish and Nekroz. Now you can use it also as a number 9, you know, level 9 to put Trish on the board, which is great. Itself on the board, which is really great. But yeah, Trishula accessible, Nekroz Trishula accessible. You know, ditch, protect, special summon, remove. You still have Unicorn. Unicorn still negates stuff. And you really can't play the game with Exceeds with Unicorn on the board, so it's really hard, you know, to do stuff like that. You really can't play the game at that point. What you gonna do? Make Crazy Box? Okay, Crazy Box. Attack. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And if they protect it, you're assed out. You know, but the deck is still really powerful. It's still really fast. Still really consistent. And I feel like no matter what, it still holds down the game until it gets a real hit. Like it getting to the Gen Lock hit, and Lavalval Chain wasn't enough to hinder the deck useless. It still is a powerful deck at number 2. So the number 2 deck is Nekroz. The number 1 deck, if you guys haven't noticed right now, I put as Burning Abyss. Yay, Burning Abyss. Why? Because the deck was always like the best deck. Like everybody assumed it was always Shaddoll that was running the format for so long. No, it wasn't. Burning Abyss pretty much took the format over once like it got the better support. You know, it has the little, I don't know if the card's called, but the trap, the elephant one that you could pitch one from the grave and banish one for pitch one to the grave, or banish one from your grave and remove something from your opponent's grave, which is super easy. You know, it's a super plus for you and super powerful against those kind of graveyard accessible decks. Cards like Fire Lake, like it can use cards like Secret Village of the Spellcasters. It is Dark Law accessible, something I also didn't mention with Shaddolls, sorry. And another thing I want to touch on before, you know, because I jumped ahead of myself a little bit, for those decks like Nekroz and Shaddolls, and Satellarknights, Nodin is guaranteed to release this year at some point. So if it comes out within this format, then that will make a big difference in those 3 decks. You know, being able to special summon and spam the board for better plays, you know. But that's something else. But yeah, Burning Abyss, like I said, Dark Law accessible, like just like Shaddolls, you know, Secret Village of the Spellcasters. It was untouched in the format. You know, you have stuff like I said, like Fire Lake, you know, powerful card. So as long as the deck doesn't really get a hit, you know, that deck will remain the best deck. And I already seen the World's List. The World's List, you can't play Burning Abyss, basically. You can't play Shaddolls. So those decks are definitely not getting hit on the next format. Like, the deck that wins is going to get demolished, of course. It always happens. The deck that wins Worlds always gets the biggest boot in the world. But those decks should get hits, but not hits to an extreme measure. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much it. You guys tell me your thoughts. You know, I try to run through it as fast as possible. And tell me if you agree, disagree. Tell me what should have been there. If you think another deck belonged there. I try to feed you your guys' needs, you know, as much as I can. But hey, let's see how it worked out. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Check out the Facebook group, link in the description below. Like my like page, all that good stuff. And this is your boy Joe Grizz from the Team Avalanche Worldwide YouTuber channel, reporting to you live, saying peace YouTube, and thanks to everybody for coming, and I will see you next time. Later, guys. Please stay connected with me by adding me on all my social networks on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just copy the link into your search bar and add. Thank you.